Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Spin Masters 4D Build Millennium Falcon cardstock kit. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And here we have 4D build, detailed models, easy assembly, designed for display. And then here it kind of shows you how big it is, and it does give you the dimensions of the completed model, which are 16.9 inches by 12.4 inches by 8.8 inches. There it is in centimeters. It's 223 pieces, and it's from Spin Master. And then here we've got a nice practical shot, I'm guessing. No, it might be a render. I'm not 100% sure, but there's some, added stuff to it. Millennium Falcon cardstock model kit, Star Wars. And then here on the top, it's upside down. So it's got 4D build, Star Wars, and a picture of the model. On this side, 4D build, Millennium Falcon cardstock model, a picture of it. Star Wars, barcode and item numbers and all that kind of stuff, and some other numbers you might need. On the bottom, symbols I'm not going to learn, spinmaster.com. Content may vary from pictures. What? And then on this side, 4D build Millennium Falcon cardstock model kit, Star Wars. And that same picture of the model. And then on the back, 4D build Millennium Falcon cardstock model kit, Star Wars, 223 pieces, no tools required. And that's quite true. And then here again, it gives you the measurements next to a laptop sitting on a desk. And there's a phone also, and it says display. And then design. Well, you don't really design it, but here is the design, and it's on all these cardboard pieces, and they actually fold out, and you punch them all out of that stuff. And the durability, I will say it's not bad on the durability, and detail is pretty decent for what it is. Contents: 10 cardstock sheets, glue, and instructions. Glue I did not have to use. And then this product conforms to whatever. And then small, fine legalese print, probably where it's made. And I don't see it on there, but made in China. Made in China print right there. Disney print, Star Wars print, Lucasfilm print, and Spin Master print. And that, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the model and the instructions and how you take it out of the sprues, I guess. Although I don't know if you really call this a sprue. It's a sheet of cardboard that's, papered and colored and cut, and you punch the things out of it, and you can see there's a bend in it right in the middle, and that's how it comes packaged in the box, folded over like this. I know this is kind of hard to look at this way, and you can see upside down that way. But here's right side up, and you can see, it's got numbers on it, which correspond to the part numbers that are in the directions. And speaking of the directions, it's 4D build, detailed model, easy to assemble, designed for display, 223 pieces. It's 16.9 inches by 12.4 inches by 8.8 inches, and there it is in centimeters if you want that. It's from Spin Masters. It's the Millennium Falcon cardstock model kit, Star Wars, of course, and there's a nice picture of it. And then on the inside, it's pretty basic kind of model kits. If you've put together a model kit before, even a Lego, you know, unlike Legos, this at least gives you part numbers. And you don't really have to worry about the colors and stuff. So, you know, pretty interesting. Pretty fun to put together, I thought. And there I go bumping the camera. So here, I'll hold the ship up and we'll take a quick look at the stand. Or I'll set it down. Maybe it won't fall apart. And, you know, it's got two holding parts on it, and it's all put together out of cardboard as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't have much of a bottom, but you know, it's not bad. It's reasonably stable. It's not 100% level, but, and I will say these pieces don't hold the model as well as I would like. But maybe that's just me. But as far as the model itself, let's take a quick look. And you can see it does have the, like, the printed work on this is really, really good. And it even, you know, has like depth in places that you would think, hey, maybe it shouldn't have depth in there because it's made out of cardboard, but it does. You can see right there where I ripped the paper off a little bit while removing it from the cardboard or the other cardboard. But it you know, a lot of printed detail, and then it does have a good bit of, you know, elevated and depressed detail as well. Maybe not as much as you would get in a plastic model kit. Well, definitely not as much as you would get in a plastic model kit, but you know, we're talking about cardboard here. So see, that's flat on there. It's printed on there, but it still looks really, really good. The engine, that looks really good in my opinion, and they didn't just like make it like it was activated. As you can see on the upper piece and the lower piece there, you know, there's some blue on that as well to make it look like the engines are running. Now the only real parts I had problems with sticking on are one or two of these little pieces here. Most of them stick on there pretty good, but there was one that was kind of loose, and I'm keeping an eye on it to see if it'll fall off. I probably should just go ahead and glue it on, but yeah, I'm stubborn like that. You can see the gun turret on the top, there's multiple pieces, and the one on the bottom as well. And there's just as much detail going on here on the bottom as the top. Maybe these parts should have been depressed in too, but I don't think there was but room for one side to do that. So you can see fairly good bit of depth to this model. You can even see in there in between the forks. Well, you can't because it's not lighting up in there, but we'll try to light it up a little bit. So you can even see it's got printed details in there, if it'll focus. So it doesn't want to, but there it is. So I think it's really nice for what it is, especially for what I paid for it, because I picked this up at Ollie's. So it wasn't, I don't even think it was $10. Because not only did I get it at Ollie's, but they were running some kind of special as well. And you just kind of sit the model in the cradle a bit. Like I said, this one doesn't fit as well as some of the other ones that I've done where they sit in it pretty securely. But there you have it, my friends. There's a look at the model and the cardboard sheets it came out of, and the instruction manual, and the stand. For final ramblings on the Spin Masters 4D Build Millennium Falcon cardstock model kit, I have to say, you know, it was a pretty fun model to build. It says no glue. Well, it doesn't say no glue. It comes with glue. But the instructions don't really tell you, hey, you need to put glue here. And some of the others I've seen where it says like there's specific places that you should definitely put the glue. And of course I didn't listen. But on this one, there might be one or two pieces that might actually need some glue. But for the most part, this thing is, you know, it holds itself together. As you see it right now, there is no glue holding this cardstock model kit together. And, you know, I think that's good. There are some times when it was a bit frustrating because the tabs were very tight to fit into place, but I would rather have that little bit of frustration rather than having to spend hours trying to glue the things on and waiting for it to dry. And the glue that it comes with is it takes like 48 hours for it to dry or some crap. And I'm just not interested in waiting that long. I like to start and get it done. Now I will say this one did take me probably about 4 to 5 hours to put together. And that was while watching TV too. So, you know, don't expect a super long experience putting this thing together. It's pretty simple. The hardest part of these models really is taking them, well, I don't want to say sprues because it's all cardboard, but punching it out of the larger cardboard sections, and then the little bitty slots where the tabs go, you have to punch all those out. That's probably the most frustrating and time consuming part of this, but you know, it's not really that big a deal. You get you some handy dandy tweezers with some points on them like so, and they're pretty easy to punch out. Now I would like to say overall the look of this thing is really, really cool, and it might not be shaped, you know, exactly like the Millennium Falcon, just because of the nature of the materials used to put it together. But, you know, I think it looks really good. It's really close. Again, talking about the materials that it's made out of, which is basically really thick cardboard, or really compressed cardboard, I guess I should say. The only other thing that really kind of sticks in my craw by these is, as you can see the radar dish coming by, there is a little spot where the paper tore, and sometimes it does happen. I tend to try to punch them out so that I'm punching them from the back, but that one I didn't, and the paper didn't come all the way loose from the cardboard sheet, and it did tear a little bit. But you know, overall, one little thing like that out of this whole thing, to me, it's not that big of a deal. Now, as far as what you could use this for, is pretty much one thing, and that's for it to be a display. And you know, I guess you could hang this up from the ceiling. I don't really recommend it unless you glued the crap out of it. But you know, it does come with a stand that you do have to build. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a bottom to it, so there is that. I mean, it looks like it has a bottom to it, but it doesn't. It's just a ring around the outside of it. And you know, the ship itself doesn't fit in the stand the greatest, but you do have to play with it a little bit to get it in there correctly. But as you know, it's for somebody who maybe doesn't collect a lot, because it does take up quite a bit of shelf space. So this, I could see somebody doing this to put it on a desk or you know, a table or something like that to sit by itself. And that's pretty much it. That's really all I could see this being good for. If you know something, a different use for it, please let me know in the comments. But you know, again, it looks good for considering, you know, what it's made out of and what it is, and it's exactly what it's supposed to be. And I do like this. It's pretty cool. I've picked up a couple of these, and I've put a few of them together so far. I still got about 3 or 4 left to build, but you know, they're pretty easy. Mostly don't need glue, at least the Spin Masters ones. There is another company that I picked up some from, and I guess Spin Masters quit doing it and this company picked it up, but I think they probably stopped doing it as well. So, but anyway, they call this Final Rambling, or I call this Final Ramblings for a reason, and I've quite rambled on long enough about it. So, well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you are interested in supporting my channel further, I'm now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content or just help the channel grow, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.